Hi, I'm Margie Grinnell with the Zellwood Historical Society, and I'm here with Clyde S.Goolsby Sr. today. We're getting ready to go see Clyde's birthplace on the grounds of Laughlin Estate and explore Zellwood's early days. I'm ready, are you?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
So how big was Sydonie, Dad, when you were living here?
Well, it was full size, same size it is now.
I mean in acreage.
Was it 500?
Oh,
500?
Everything in here they own. On the other side of the main road out here, they own all that property out there, and they, every year they go in there and cut the grass off of it, you know, and put it all together and give it to the horses or something. Well, we lived this side of where that framework for that is. I don't know, maybe 200-300 feet, no more than that. And all of this was orange grove. We could come out around the edge of the orange grove and come out to, you know, where we are now, but it was still an orange grove. A clay road out to here, but that's where my whole life was for the first 7 years. Right there, you looking at it.
And the water tower was up on top at that time.
Yeah, and those persons that were working on that house they were building, they were scared to death seeing me climbing up there.
And whose house was that that's right next to the water tower? That big one.
Well, when we were here, they built that big one there as a washing place, and just something different. It wasn't the house they were living in. And up here a little ways back where Mrs. Davenport lived,
Yes.
her house burned down.
But the servant's house or the workers' quarters is still there. This was part of the Davenport place,
Yeah,
right here.
she used to send me something for Christmas. But when I went to Italy and I came back, I saw her, and she asked me where I had been, and she was telling me about Florence up there, where they had a lot of stuff that she had done. You know, she.
Oh, her paintings.
Yeah. And she's traveled all over everywhere, but she took in 3 boys that I know of from.
She adopted some children, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a daughter, too.
Yeah. But she took them and just took them. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better person to look after those people.
In our book, it states that these gates were based upon the same idea as the historic gates of Old St. Augustine. When you look at the St. Augustine city gates, they really don't look very much like this, except they were both made of coquina.
Well, all this back then was really kept up, see?
Oh, yes.
They just really kept it up, and a lot of palm trees were in here. It was a really beautiful place to be. See all those bamboos out there?
Yes.
They planted, I mean, the people planted all that, but when the things ever went to heck and back,
Yeah.
they just left it.
Yeah.
They just left it. it looked great back then, you know.
Yes.
Like I said, 85 years differences.
Oh, true.
My grandfather was a carpenter out here, and he had a big building that he kept the stuff in, you know, and worked in and all that. And I'm pretty sure that's it right there. My grandfather, John Gardner, was the carpenter that headquartered right here. He had all the equipment and the things it took to do the work here, right? And looks a lot different now, but this is it. This is it. About I don't know what it was, maybe sixth grade. No, it wasn't sixth grade. It was maybe third grade. Our teacher wanted us to build something, and I came down here and built a little small place that I could use to work on, and took it back to the school, and I won something for that because I made the best one that they had. I built it kind of like it was something that, you know, you could put your papers up there and write, and a desk. And there was a couple of others that tried to do something, and it made them mad because I came down here and got it made right here.
You had the best equipment available.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What years would that have been that your grandfather was here?
Well, he was here as long as I was here. So I was here in 1923 through 1940, 1930 it is. Then after they shut it down, we moved out. I think I was in the first grade. I walked from here over there all the time, and I remember that I walked to school that day when it let out. I walked back here, but nobody was here because they had already moved back to Poncan Road. So I had to walk back all the way again and over to where we lived. But anyway, so I was just a youngster then back. That's all it is to it. Yeah, the post office was right down in the same building as the grocery store, just one door different. And that's where people would gather every night. The young people, they just get out there, you know, talk to each other, waiting for the mail to come in. They'd come in about 9 o'clock, and a steward would put it all up there. And they'd look at the mail, and then the young ones just take off wherever they were going. I'd have to walk down from where we lived there, which was about a mile or so, and catch a bus to go to Apopka, to go to high school. And then I played baseball and football, and they'd be practicing after school. So that meant I didn't get a ride home on the bus. I hitchhiked every time, this way. And the person that was in charge of John Land's property there, it was John Land's brother. Every afternoon when I would get ready to come home and be plummeted, he'd stop by and pick me up and put me out right at my house.
Your wife? Did you meet her?
Not here, no.
But in Zellwood you did.
Well, I was in the, where the packing house was in Zellwood, Citrus Packing House. She had a sister that was helping to pack the fruit, and I think she just came in there to visit or something, you know. And somehow or another we got to know each other and started dating, and next thing I know I was in the Army. And so I was back from the military, or from the Army, I mean from overseas, when we started dating again and got married. Well, there's a little, I was building one of some property that was made from the military, and we didn't actually ever get to build or live in it. We built in a little trailer right next to it for a while, and then we moved to a place that in Orlando, next on Colonial Drive. We lived there for a little while. It was a garage apartment, and then my wife found a place over in she bought a place, and I think she paid $3,500 for it. And that house is still there too. My name is Clyde S.Goolsby. I was born and raised right here on this property, a little bit further west of here. I'm 91 years old, and I'm a Florida pioneer. Never been anywhere else, except in the military.
Mr. Goolsby, would you go back to the time when your family was at Laughlin Estate and tell us about your oldest family member who was a part of this place? Was that your grandfather?
Yeah.
And what was his name?
John Gardner was my grandfather. And he did carpenter work. I mean, he had a regular building there with all the equipment and extra boards and things, you know, and he was a carpenter. And he was a Methodist Christian, and he really was too. Because I could sit on his porch at night, and he'd read the Bible, then he'd make a prayer, and then he'd go to bed. All the time. He was just that way. He was that kind of a person. And he helped to get the Methodist Church going here in Zellwood. And I know in later years when he passed away, I was there. And he said, "Clyde, don't ever get in this shape like this." I don't think my father was born here. He's a pioneer himself. And he was born in the area, but I don't think he was born here.
But he did come here, your father?
Yeah, he worked here.
And what did he do?
I think he did some of all of it, really. And where they had these horses over here, and where they took care of everything, and he just did a lot of everything, I think. But you must remember, before we left here, I was only 7 years old at the highest.
Would you remind me of you talked about the trees that were planted?
The trees that my dad helped plant comes from 441 up, the main road out there, and it comes all the way over to the road that turns right to come into here.
Lachlan, Lachlan Road.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
And I remember when they built that road even, I think the county did it, I believe. And it was mostly done by hand. They didn't do, I was still living here at that point in time when they built that little road out there. But later everybody had to move out. But the Lachlans, as far as I can see, they treated everybody good, real good. Everybody had a home, not just a square box to sit in. They had a home. They would have a good yard and everything else. And they weren't in line. There was one over yonder, one on that side, and, you know, everybody that walked here had a home. And they had good people here too. That no question about that.
did you mix with the Lachlans at all?
No, I didn't mix with the Lachlans because, well, like I said, that when everything, you know, went down, that was the year I started school over here in Zellwood, which I was 7 years old. They wouldn't let me start school the year before because my birthday's in September, and that I wasn't old enough to start, so they made me be 7 years old when I started school.
Do you happen to remember the name of your teacher?
My teacher?
Yes.
Well, my teacher in the first, second, and third grade was Mrs. Marshall, I believe, or Marshall, or something like that, that she married him right after I started going to school. But there's a family that lived here, over here, and they had, I think, a couple of girls and a boy. So my first day at school, I was sitting in the first grade there, you know, and this girl was sitting over there too, and I was familiar with her, you know, and I said, "Ha!" The teacher said, "We don't do that here."
What did you do for fun as a child in this area? Did you play in the woods or?
Well, I didn't go to the woods to play around much, but around the house there, I remember putting together a little garden of my own with, you know, fruits and things on them. I'm just a kid now. I got it going real well. And then these people come around and tore it up and threw it away. That's when they had the disease on their orange trees. And these knotheads, I was just a kid, you know. But anyway, as I cried, like.
Did you swim in the lake here when you were growing up?
Yes. Some of the boys would go from school on the other side of the lake here and go swimming.
Would you tell us about William Edwards?
He was one good person too. He offered my dad a truck driving job with the truck and everything when everything fell apart. But my dad said no. Yeah.
No.
He wasn't going to leave the family.
Would you clear up what we mean when we say everything fell apart?
Well, when in 29, I think it was, that everything just went down.
Economically.
They had, I believe it was a real nice car that they left here. And they just leave it here every winter season. They come down and have that nice car. But when when they shut everything down, they just left that car here and just dismantled it. Give part of somebody else, but they never used it anymore or anything. They just kind of let it go down. But it was a real nice car. Seemed like it was I'm saying a Rolls Royce, but it was a nice car like that. Because I know the car that people like my folks, they didn't make them that good.
Your folks had a car?
Hmm?
Your folks had a car when they lived here?
We had one, had to have something to go to get groceries.
What did you have? Would a kid remember that?
It was a Hutmobile or something like that. It wasn't a Ford or a Chevrolet.
And where did you go for groceries from here?
We went down to Plymouth there, where the Stewarts had a place, and we go down there once a week, and $5 would buy all the groceries we needed for that week.
The Hamden DeBow School said that during World War II in 1943, this was a very noisy place to live because they said that the planes would come in from Orlando, they would watch the searchlights pick them up in the distance,
Yeah.
and then as they got over Sydonie, they would change course. So that searchlight is I think that one picked them up here.
Yeah.
But they had command posts in Orlando telling the planes to look for the big house with the red roof, and this was their mark. They would change course as soon as they got over the top of Sydonie, so it was very, very noisy to live here during World War II.
Well, back in World War II, they had these platforms that the people from around here would be on. My mother was on one of them. You had to crawl up about 10 to 15 feet high, I guess, and they made one out there where the farms used to be, and she and another lady would go out there and stay, and they had to report every airplane that went by. Give the numbers and the type and everything, no matter what kind it was.
Oh, we didn't tell the water tower story.
Oh, there you go, water tower.
Well, they were building a big house for where they could wash and laundry, and the carpenters were right above that water tower, next to one of the houses. It's right over there, up there. I mean, where they were staying. And I had to be just a small kid, but anyway, I went over there to where that was, and I crawled way up it. And the carpenters saw me. And that later said, I was scared to say anything. I'm afraid you turn loose and fall. But from the way they talked, I was at least halfway up there. But I was just a kid.
Thank you for your time. We've really enjoyed hearing about it, about your memories in Laughlin Estate area.
Well, like I said, I'm 91 years old and I'm here, and I don't know how I got here.
Well,
Here I am. Did you find out anything?
That's a good way to finish.